Welcome to another episode of Redistricting for Racial Justice, presented by More Equitable Democracy. My name is Bill Ball. This is episode 5 of our Intro to GIS and Census Data tutorial series. And in this episode, we are going to talk about some basic GIS tools. Specifically, we're going to open up ArcMap for the first time. We are going to load a shapefile. We are going to explore the attribute table of the shapefile that we load. And then we're going to talk about some basic navigation tools within GIS. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, go ahead and open up ArcMap, and once you do, you might have to close some intro thing, whatever, but once you do that, you'll get to this blank page right here, which is what we want. We got a blank canvas to start building our map. And so the first thing we want to do is go to the top left, where you see this plus sign up here, Add Data. And we'll click on Add Data. And you want to navigate to the folder where your shapefiles that we downloaded are located. So I've got mine right here. And you see there's 3 files in here. And you'll notice that even though our shapefiles are 7 individual files, ArcMap is smart enough to only show the files that you actually care about. So I see the race data that we downloaded in the last episode. We have the block group shapefile, and we have the congressional district shapefile. In this episode, we're only going to look at the block group shapefile, so let's go ahead and double-click on that. And there we go. We've got a kind of fat, distorted map of Ohio. Now, in the next episode, we are going to talk about projections and how to fix this map from being kind of distorted. But for right now, we're stuck with this map, okay? And so what we're looking at is every single block group in the state of Ohio. And you can see some of these are really big over here, and some of these big ones here. And you've got some really tiny ones going on here as well. Now, general rule of thumb, it's not always true, but the general rule of thumb is the bigger the block group, the more rural / less people live there. And so by knowing that, and by knowing what I know about the state of Ohio, I can already tell, just by looking at the size of these block groups, that this is Columbus right here, and you've got Cleveland and Akron right here, and Toledo and Dayton and Cincinnati right here. Just by looking at the size of these shapefiles, I already know where the majority of the people in this state live. Okay? So we've got that loaded. Next thing I want to do is open up the attribute table. So the attribute table, if we right-click on right here, and then I click Open Attribute Table, we've got another messy spreadsheet here, okay? Now, what we're looking at in this table right here is a list of all 9,238 block groups within the state of Ohio, okay? Every row is an individual block group in Ohio, okay? And you've got, a column for state and county and track block groups and a bunch of other crap. The only thing we really care about in here is this GeoID. Now, we talked about this in the last episode, but I want to talk about it once again. It's a very, very important number. And what this is a unique ID. It's just an ID for every block group, okay? And each one of these numbers is different. And while at first it may look like just a long number that doesn't make any sense, there's actually a method to this number right here. It might be kind of hard for you to see, but you can see that every single one of these numbers starts off with a 39. Okay, that makes sense. We know from a couple episodes ago that the state is 39. Every state in the country has an ID. Ohio's ID is 39. Okay, the next 3 numbers in this GeoID, 023. Now, what does that mean? Well, I see a 023 here, and that stands for county. Okay, that makes sense now. So the first 2 digits of this GeoID is the state. The next 3 digits of this is the county. Okay, we're getting somewhere now. And what's next? 00240. What the heck is that? Okay, well, there's the track ID. So you can start to see where we're going here, which is this number here. It starts off with the state, then it goes to the county, then it goes to the track number, and then it goes into the block group number. So a lot of numbers, but there is a little bit of a method to that madness on here. Basically, everything else here is kind of junk we don't really need. It's just this GeoID, very important. Okay, so we're going to close that out. And now, finally, I just want to go over some basic navigation tools. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's what I'm going with. You see these icons up here at the top here. None of these should seem too crazy to you. You've got this hand here. It's the pan tool. So all this does is allow you to move the map up and down and whatnot. Okay, that's easy enough. You've got two magnifying glasses right here. One with the plus sign, one with the minus sign. The plus sign zooms in. So let's say I want to zoom in on, let's say, Youngstown over here. I think that's Youngstown. So I can keep zooming in, and then I can zoom out if I like to. So I can do the same thing and zoom out. Okay, easy enough. You've got this globe. What this does is it zooms out to the fullest extent that we have loaded. So just click on it. As you can see, it just takes us back to very, very beginning here. Then you've got these kind of fixed zoom in. You know, you can play around with this however you like. The last tool I want to talk about real quickly is this eye with a blue circle around it. It's the identify tool. This is an important one. Go and click on this. Now what this does is it allows you to click any of these block groups here, and it will tell you the exact same information that we saw in this attribute table. So if I click this one right here, I can see, okay, this is state 39, county 65, the GeoID, and then all those other numbers we don't really care about. So that's basically it. You know, we got all this. We got the shapefile loaded. We learned about attribute tables and just some basic navigation tools we also learned about. So thank you for joining us in this episode. The next episode, we are going to be talking about projections. And so if you have any comments, please leave them in the text box below. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks a bunch.